Welcome to season two. Season two? I guess we'll
Season
count it as a
two.
season two of Four Favorites, brought to you by the Quiet Onset podcast. My name is Lachlan Teely. I'll be your host for this episode. And today I'm actually joined by my co-host of the Quiet Onset podcast, the host of the rest of the season of this show, Ewan Graf.
Hey, what's up?
On Four Favorites, it's a pretty simple concept. We talk with our guests of our favorite films, four to be specific, and it's about a theme. So, this theme for this season is a very, I guess, broad range of films. You know, what classes as animation? That's right. The theme this season is going to be animation because there's a lot of different animated films out there. Do you consider Who Framed Roger Rabbit to be an animated movie? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Who Framed
Yeah, it
Roger
is an
Rabbit? Is
interesting
it an
one.
animated
Yeah.
movie? Is it an animated
Actually has
movie or
me
is it a
thinking.
live action movie? Yeah, that made you think. The rest of the other
Rarely
animated,
does.
you got so many animated films out there that they all are pretty much obvious. There's hand drawn animation, there's computer animation, there's, as I said, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? A bit of a mixture of both.
Yeah, there's computer animated, hand animated, and Who's Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
That's the third category.
And Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Those are the three types of animation that you can have. There's so many options, right? There's animation has lasted forever. You know, really early days of cinema, you had Disney pumping out some really awesome animated films, which I feel like over the season we might have some guests that will say that because they are so beloved in the space. You
Yeah.
could say yes or no because I think you know who's in this season, and I think you know
I do.
or what films everyone has pretty much said so
Yeah.
far. Insight, maybe?
Yes.
Can you?
Surprisingly, there's quite a bit of overlap when it comes to some picks that are really some favorites that are gonna be mentioned on a couple of
course.
lists. Not like as many Disney movies as I might have expected. There's some deep cuts in it as
Oh.
well. So stay tuned for
Okay.
the season. I haven't received all of the lists yet, but we'll also have more guests. We are about to double at least the last season. So
Wow.
there should be a new episode
Incredible.
out every couple of days for the entirety of December.
Before we get into your four favorite animated films,
Mhm.
your four main favorite animated films, can you tell us a couple of films that might have just cut the top four?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that there's a lot from Studio Ghibli that I just adore. When we get into into my list, you'll notice that it might have made it onto my list as well. Maybe even more than once. And so a bunch of honorable mentions go out to maybe something like Spirited Away that I know a lot of people love. It's the highest rated animated film of all time. I really like that one as well. Something maybe a bit lesser known, Perfect Blue. You know, the inspiration for there's a lot of animated films that get referenced time and time again, also in live action, similar to Perfect Blue and the iconic depiction of, I guess, someone going insane or everyone thinking she's going insane. Really great film there. Same with something else that really narrowly didn't make it onto my list, Akira, with the Akira slide that's just been replicated countless times in film. I think I don't have a film that's stop motion on my list, but I adore Fantastic Mr. Fox from Wes Anderson. So I think that's enough for the honorable mentions here. And yeah, spoiler alert: no Pixar film has made it onto my list.
So you said you're gonna double up on a Ghibli film. Well, not double
Yeah.
up in the sense that say the same film twice. That's cheating. You can't do that. But two Studio Ghibli films in this list of top four
Yeah.
favorite animated films. So let's get started with one of those ones, Ewan.
Mhm.
Take it away.
My first pick is from Hayao Miyazaki from 1997. It's Princess Mononoke, an iconic film. When I first saw it, I think only 2 years ago, I did this Studio Ghibli marathon at the start of the pandemic when they released on Netflix, and Princess Mononoke was one of our first stops. And oh, what a stop it was! It really never went away and just took up some mental capacity for the rest of time. I think this film really grabs you in its message about like nature, but it's also just such a fun action film that has sad moments, it has cute moments. There's some iconic iconography that always comes out of every Studio Ghibli film. They're really just great about that. And Lachlan, I know that you really love Princess Mononoke as well. So
Yes. I don't want to spoil my top four because I
yeah.
think I'm closing out this season. Last season I started and you ended, and we're flipping it
Hmm.
around. Maybe we'll do that each season. Um, yes, I love Princess Mononoke, but I think it's for a completely different reason. But again, I'm gonna
Right.
save that. You're gonna have to follow along. At least wait until the end of the season if you
Exactly.
want to find out why I like Princess Mononoke. No Pixar films in your
Yeah.
lineup. However, close cousin of Pixar is Disney.
Yeah.
Disney animated film is the next one that's up there. Ewan, what's your second pick?
The Lion King, a movie that is not a film that I've seen like well, I've seen it recently, about a year or two ago, but I've seen it as a kid.
The remake.
It's okay. No,
You're talking about the
no,
remake, right?
no, no. Which technically that one was also like advertised as a live action film, but it's not. It's just an
True,
animated film.
true. It's
It
not
is
live
just
action, it's
animated.
animated.
It's
Well,
an
again, this is the
animated film.
conversation. It's
It's so
like,
dumb.
is the Lion King remake live action or animated? Is Who Framed Roger Rabbit live action or animated? That one, like, it's come on. What do we do? What is animation?
I no, I feel like Space Jam is I don't know, it's partly. Like there you could make the argument even more than for Who Framed
Well, no,
Roger
that's
Rabbit
full
for it to be
animation
animated.
because I was gonna say Michael Jordan is not a real person. He's animated.
Yeah, as a hologram. But no, The Lion King from 1994. I guess it has to be clarified because for the SEO, the stupid John Favreau remake is first of all making so much more money than the original, which is upsetting. But also, I guess no, I think people know about the original still. Hopefully, that would make me sad if they don't. Anyways, I think The Lion King is iconic for a lot of reasons. I really like the songs in it. That like some songs that you can just pop on. Like "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" is such a pleasing song to listen to, even outside
Mm.
of the context of the film. "Circle of Life," another great song. But to me, I think what made this movie stuck around and the reason why it is in my top four favorites is that it has that storyline of the guilt being wrongfully bestowed onto this kid who then is exiled and has to find his own identity and then comes back. To me, like that story aspect isn't even that great. What really worked for me is that the central moments between Mufasa and Simba, as he we don't get like a ton of time with them, but you just get
Hmm.
like the warmth of Mufasa as a father. So it feels like a true loss when he dies. And you know, you see this little cub, this lion cub struggling with his own identity. And I kind of watched this for the first time like right after my dad passed away, at a quite young age for me as well. So I like deeply connected with it. And I remember, I think this is the first movie I consciously remember as a kid tearing up when he appears in the sky and they end up talking, and the courage for him to go back. Like that moment was so essential to my just like experience as a person, not just in the film, in my film memories. That I gotta stick with the real
Hmm.
classic, the modern classic of The Lion King.
Well, you will get more Mufasa soon because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Disney announced they'll be doing a spin-off to the Lion King remake
Right.
about Mufasa. So if
Yeah.
you feel like you're missing out on him, don't worry, there will be some. Best line in The Lion King is "Long live the king." Funny thing is when my girlfriend's dog puts his paws up on the couch or something, she will
Yeah.
always push his paws off and always go, "Long live the king."
Okay.
Her favorite thing to do. Anyway, close relative of Pixar is Disney. Close relative of Disney is Sony Animations because they sold this intellectual property to them and would love to buy it back because they're making
Yeah.
so much money off of this IP.
Mhm.
But Disney was in some hard times. When I say Disney, Marvel was in some hard times.
Yeah.
This character is a Marvel character. Ewan, number 3.
You're
What is your
killing it
third
with the
favorite?
segues. It's amazing.
Am I not?
Yeah,
By the way, I
really
haven't prepped for any of this. These are
no.
all on the fly. But sorry,
That's why
go
I'm
ahead.
so
Go ahead.
impressed as well. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the most recent film on my list from 2018. I feel like immediately when this movie came out, it was without a question like, okay, this is something different in animation. Where some studios with recent releases, even I think the most recent release we'll get in December is probably going to be Disney's Strange World, where they all feel like they want to fit into this Disney mold and all look the same. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse really stands out with its animation style, where it uses the animation, I guess, genre or the capabilities that you get by going full animated and bringing something between comic and animation to screen that just is so perfectly molded. And it's also coming through in all of the characters in the way that they are animated, like differently. It's not that everyone's moving on the same plane or even at the same frame rate. There's like changes in that that help that are really interesting to dissect if you like analyze them, but also just watching the film. There's something subconsciously that happens in a lot of these moments that make this such a clean and perfect film to me. So I was just flabbergasted the first time I saw Spider-Verse. It's one of the films that had the second, like the rewatch, pretty much the fastest that I've probably done in a long time. Because I was just so in this world, and I'm keen to see where they go next. I know that later next year there'll be the first sequel, and then a couple years after, or the year after, I don't know what the timeline is there, we'll get the two Across the Spider-Verse films. So hopefully they can keep it up with the standard they've set so far. But man, I'm a big fan of Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse, from my experience of it, was kind of shocking because it was just out of nowhere. I don't think I was excited to see it at all,
Yeah.
and then went and saw it with a bunch of mates and absolutely loved it. It was a
Hmm.
really, surprising film that came out, and it just everyone was like collectively, yes, this was a sick film. Even if they didn't
Yeah.
enjoy Spider-Man as a character, they appreciated what it was as a film medium. And you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Molded a comic book character into animation and still had those comic book aspects molded into the story in some kind of
Yeah.
way, and it was so well done. It's one of the few, I guess, superhero films I'm quite excited to see the sequels for. Also, one of the very first early multiverse films. It was kind of like dipping their toes into it, and now
Yeah.
look what's happened. Everyone wants to do a fucking multiverse movie. God, even
Yeah.
even Warner Brothers is doing a multiverse game. But anyway,
No, I mean it is true, and I feel like with animation for the type of stuff that they are doing, I watched a ton of behind the scenes. It's so interesting, but
mm,
also it takes way longer. So they have dips on
mm.
it for a long time. Also, statement incoming, statement, big statement. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie. I said it.
Wow, wow. From a man who's talking about, the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time that was created by
Yeah,
the
how are you
same
gonna connect
company
this?
that did the Emoji Movie.
Uh-huh.
The same company that did the Emoji Movie made
Hmm.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It shows that a company can change and a company can do a lot of different things. It can make one of the worst films ever and make one of the best films ever. So a film studio that's notorious for making kids films, I guess, also made this next one, which
Yeah.
is still considered a kids' film, but when you watch it, you will go, "Holy shit!" Ewan, this next film, number 4. Is there a
Uh-huh.
reason you've left this one last? Is it because it's a bit of a shocker, or is there a reason that you wanted to leave this one to be the final one, or?
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, great for you for picking up on that. I initially I also wanted to close the show up because I do have two Studio Ghibli picks. With I start off with one, close out with the other. But Grave of the Fireflies is a bit of, I guess, a downer overall when it comes to the subject, because it follows these two kids, an older brother and his really young sibling during World War II or at the end of World War II in Japan, and they're just scrambling by, trying to survive. So it's a really gritty film where you question where the, I guess, like the animated aspect is essentially needed. Because I don't know about you, Lachlan, but I don't like movies that could just as well be told in live action with a bunch of VFX that don't use the animation genre to the fullest. And what Grave of the Fireflies does so well that it might even stand above any of these other films that I've just mentioned is that I'm so incredibly involved and emotionally engaged with the survival of these two children in this really, really sad setting, a depressing setting that what can I say? Like, I love sad films. I love movies that will make me cry for reasons of nostalgia when it comes to The Lion King or Lost in a sense. But here it's just like the dread is just there at all times, and I feel like this is the animated equivalent of Come and See, another really like all time favorite for me. And oh man, Grave of the Fireflies. You just really gotta be in the mood to watch this film as well. And you said like it's a kids film. How is this a kids film? It was also making headlines like time and time again. Like people pick up on that it was a double feature or co-release with another film from Hayao Miyazaki. This is by, I didn't say that yet, Isao Takahata. But with My Neighbor Totoro. The pairing of these
Super
films
lighthearted.
is also, yeah, it's interesting because like I recently saw a video essay that kind of went into the pairing of these two and what it could actually mean or why it was chosen that way. And Totoro is like ultimately about pretty much nothing in the plot. It's just like existing and you're just kind of there, and there's not much on the plot side that happens. But it has the sad backdrop of like the mother being in hospital, but ultimately there's no actual consequence of something that happens that would change their lives. It's just like a glimpse into their lives. And here you feel like in Grave of the Fireflies, everything depends on their survival and how they do. And uh it's also just filled, although with these really beautiful moments between these two siblings. Which just makes it even more gut wrenching to see them in the surroundings. And I don't want to spoil the film for people who haven't seen it yet, but I really urge you, if you are in the mood for something that will likely put you down, I feel like this is in like the top three of my like saddest movie experiences of all time. Just yeah, how it really drags you down, but just in a beautiful way, you know. It's weird to sell you on a sad experience. To me, that's always like odd, but yeah, that's just what Grave of the Fireflies is.
You heard it here first, folks. Grave of the Fireflies, third saddest movie of all time.
That's another big
Also,
statement. Yeah,
any chance Ewan gets the name drop Come and See, he will.
I will.
Not an
Yeah.
animated film, that one.
But
Live
yeah,
action.
by the way, I think
Uh,
another name drop for Come and See. I think it is now the highest rated film of on Letterboxd. I think it like overtook.
all because you keep creating letterboxed accounts,
Yeah.
giving it 5 out of 5s, and then deleting the account but letting that
it's
rating stay there.
it's just me.
All because of you, man. I'm gonna
Yeah,
email Letterbox headquarters and say, hey, can you just double check this score? Just make sure there's not a bunch of like Ewan Graf 1, Ewan Graf 2, Ewan
because
Graf 3 accounts
yeah,
that are giving it 5 out of 5s.
you know why he's so involved with this? Because he literally owns 3 copies of Parasite. So he's doing the same for Parasite, and he's just upset that that's not the highest rated film anymore.
Me? Are you saying me? Okay.
Yeah.
Only reason I own 3 copies of Parasite is it was an accident, but also I'm not doing. I'm doing that with Morbius, and I only own 1 copy of that, and that's on 4K.
Is there black and white version of Mobius as well?
Now that's an animated movie. Now here's the thing: is VFX animated? No, I'm not. Let's not go into that. Ewan, thank you for starting out season 2 of 4 favorites. You had
Yeah.
a really good variety of Studio Ghibli films to choose from. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I think Studio Ghibli is going to be the common thread in this season because I think as a studio, they put out some of the highest quality animated films, and also
Yeah.
because they're hand drawn for the majority of their big lineup. You
Mhm.
know, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away. They're hand-drawn animation with a little bit of
Yeah.
computer-generated ones in the later works, but there's
Yeah.
there's an aspect to it that you go, shit, someone sat down and drew this frame,
Yeah.
painted this frame, colored in this
Mhm.
frame, shaded this frame, did those little and then you see the little bits of human movement that they put into these characters that even when you're on a computer and all you have to do is, change a couple keyframes here and there to move a leg, these guys are
Yeah.
hand drawing it, and there's an aspect to that. So, am I going to say Studio Ghibli is the best animated movie studio of all
Statement
time?
incoming. A statement incoming.
All right, here it goes. I
Just-
reckon Studio Ghibli's the greatest animated. Wait, no, hang on. Sorry, Sony Pictures did the Emoji Movie.
Emoji movie. Yeah. Well,
and
what about
and,
Jon Favreau?
Illumination is doing
just-
a Super Mario Movies,
right.
movie, and also
Yeah.
doing Despicable Me. That's a hard one. You know what? I'm not going to make that
Despicable Me
statement because
17.
Illumination is here. Do you reckon Illumination is the next Disney? In the sense that
I
they could
full-heartedly hate Illumination. Like, I
freeze-
actually
freeze
capital
them.
H hate it. And we
Wow.
just recently talked about the Super Mario Bros. Trailer, and it actually looked kind of good. So am I turn a new leaf when it comes to Illumination? But I definitely do the statement and say Studio Ghibli is the greatest animation studio of all time,
Wow.
and I cannot wait for that. Hopefully, next, not even last film from Hayao Miyazaki. I adore that filmmaker. He's
Hayao
in my
Miyazaki is literally going to die, and
No.
then he's going to come out with a new film.
I don't
He's-
want
'cause
his son
he's going
Goro.
to come out of retirement, but then
Yeah,
he's going
Miyazaki
to die.
to
Then he's going
continue.
to resurrect himself as
Yeah.
a frozen head, similar
As-
to
well,
similar to
okay.
Walt Disney. Resurrect his head. He's going to with his mouth, draw each frame. That's his last film.
Yeah.
You heard
No,
it
I
here
feel
first,
like-
folks.
And the thing is, when Hayao Miyazaki dies, Walt Disney has already died. We need two more iconic animation studio heads that we can put onto the animated Mount Rushmore. And once they are completed, they'll unfreeze and
well, Illumination has
we'll
a
have a new
frozen
era
minion
of
head.
animation.
Because the Minions is based off a
I-
real creature, and they have a frozen minion head. So there's another one, and I
Can
guess
we
the
just take
last one you
Steve
could probably
Carell?
do.
And just like because he's blue.
Well, I was also going to say we could just do Chris Pratt because he's in every animated film, Lego Movie, Super
Yeah.
Mario Bros.
Well, there we got it. Steve
Jurassic
Carell,
World.
Chris Pratt, Walt Disney, and Hayao Miyazaki.
They got a real
Um,
dinosaur for Jurassic World, but they CGI'd Chris Pratt into every shot. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, to this episode of 4 Favorites. New season coming up, lots of guests ahead. Ewan, is there anyone that you want to name drop? Like, I don't know, are we getting Jesus to come on to the show and talk about his favorite animated movies?
He loved Morbius. I had to explain to him that's not an animated film, but he did not listen, so we'll see.
And he was
Maybe
like,
I'll
I did
take
not
Judas
die for
on
this film.
instead.
I did not die for this film.
No, we got, I think our biggest guest at this point is Art from the Intercut podcast, and maybe more commonly known for the Let Me Explain channel. He'll be on. He has got some really deep cut picks, by the way. And then we got some returning guests as well, and like Zach Shevich from Intercut as well, and some new faces that are gonna come later in the season. But looking forward
Well, that's
to
super
chatting a whole
exciting.
bunch about animation.
Super
Yeah.
exciting. To everyone else, please make sure you leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more episodes that come. Not only do we do this, but we do little short reviews. We do long form podcast reviews. We do some deep dives sometimes. And why don't you also in the comments name your 4 favorite animated movies? Let us know.
Please do.
Are they Who Framed Roger Rabbit 4 times? Is it Morbius 4 times? Who knows?
It's just gonna be a whole bunch of Morbius
It
comments.
could be anything. Thank you for coming around, and we'll see you on the next episode. Well, I won't.
Yeah.
Ewan will.
Well, yeah, I'll be there.
I don't do these.
You'll be there in
This
spirit.
is the special
In
episode.
spirit.
This is the special hosted
Spirited
episode
away.
of this.
It is,
Spirited
yeah.
Away.
I mean, you'll be back for your episode, so tune back in at
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of the season.
That's going to be
Yeah,
the top
definitely.
episode. I'm just going to talk about Morbius. No, I got to stop making Morbius jokes.
Yeah,
It's not funny
so
anymore.
dead.
It was so dead.
Yeah.
Should
Anyway,
I
see
burn
you
my
soon.
Morbius 4K? No. Okay, see you soon.